Hey everybody, and welcome to the After the Rolls podcast, where we talk about the Fall of Lelora, which is the homebrew campaign by our GM, Mr. Reaper 1FR.
What's up, everybody?
All right, we are joined by myself. I am Grim Productions, and I played Solarian Wastrith. We are also, who is, an Eladrin monk, and we are also joined by, just over on the right of your screen, is Hamster God. Hamster, you are?
Hello, I am Linus, the Goliath Barbarian.
All right, also in the bottom left of your screen right now, we have the Scarfather.
Yes, that's me. Yes, hello. Hi. Yes. I played Tyrell Zakadian. He is the Azamar Blood Hunter.
And we are also joined by two in the bottom right corner. For those of you on Spotify, I know you guys can't hear a damn thing, but or see a damn thing, excuse me. But we are joined by the Fat Feline.
Good afternoon, gamers. I'm the Fat Feline. You can find me over at twitch.tv/thefatfeline or on Instagram at thefatfeline, where you can see the art that I'll be posting for our campaign. I play Ammonite Terai. I'm a winged tiefling ranger, and beside me sits my fiance.
Heyo! I play Venrai Inigwin, an Eldrin wizard, who's been cursed and turned into a cat.
Where can I find you?
Oh, you can find me on Spotify at B. Austin. I make cool playlists.
And there you have it. We are straight out of Grandma's basement, and this is the After the Rolls podcast. Duh.
Okay.
So we are reviewing episode 2. Episode 2.
Yes. Episode
We
2.
actually made it episode 2. And we have all 5 people here this time, which is so much better.
I know.
It's so much nicer.
So for all of you listening, we're going to kind of recap to episode 1 because Trent and B weren't here. Now, I do remember your guys' vision. So we're going to go ladies first on this one. And B, being as vague as you can, during episode 1, you got a vision, very enlightening and emotional vision. Would you want to touch base on that vaguely? Like, how did Venrai fucking feel about it?
Venrai felt really confused about her vision.
Was there anything else involved? Like any other vision or any other feelings, or just still being vague?
I don't know. She felt really confused.
About how she feels right now.
Okay, so I mean, I'm assuming she'd be like upset.
Yeah.
Living what she saw again. And I would almost say, wouldn't she feel maybe curious as to why what happened?
Yes. I mean, curiosity did kill the cat, so.
This is true. Very true. Okay. So okay, then we'll pass it over to Trent here, and then we'll talk to him about his. How did Amon feel about that vision? Like, being as vague as possible, but what was going through his mind when he woke up? Like, you can kind of do like the fourth wall, but try and be vague.
Oh, certainly he was definitely feeling a bit of anger. Absolutely. He was feeling confused. He was waking up somewhere completely new after having that dream. And I'd even say he was feeling a hint of betrayal somewhere deep inside of him.
Yep. Okay, so we kind of got a little bit on the first episode of After the Rolls. You guys got to hear from Grim, our awesome other host of After the Rolls, who does all the editing for After the Rolls and the actual YouTube channel Straight Out of Grandma's Basement. So we got to hear from him. We got to hear from Scarfather and the Hamster God from their players' perspective. We kind of went a little bit deeper into it, and in episode 1. The one thing I do want to ask on episode 1 before we fast track this, because we're not going to go as in depth as we did on the first episode, but B, how did Ray feel? You practically got 2 out of the 3 goblin kills almost. I mean, Blandis got the first one, but you were you were about to kill that first goblin. I mean, has she ever killed before?
Since she'd been turned to a cat, no, she had not. So she's pretty confused that she had that kind of power, but she also felt like a badass.
I could see that. Fucking jumped in front of a Goliath and shoot 3 magic missiles into a fucking goblin. 1 in the nuts, by the way.
We keep coming back to that. We keep coming back to the nuts.
I know. Okay. I would say, Amon, do you feel a little lacking? Because I mean, you went in there and you were trying. Like, you came in with like the whole scissor kick thing, and then you're like the only one that took actual damage in that first fight.
Yeah, there was definitely a twinge of I guess you'd call it jealousy, but at the same time it was pride. I can guarantee that Iman had never seen Vinray do anything like that. She was a tea shop owner as long as he knew. And he was the provider and the hunter, in that aspect. So seeing her suddenly hop in front when duty called, no doubt he felt quite a bit of pride in that moment. Instead of probably distracted him from his own pain.
Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fast track to episode 2. Now, what had happened, to kind of give a little recap, they ended up killing all 3 goblins that were their jailers, basically, and got all their gear back, and they were sitting around this campfire. We kind of touched on this on the first episode about how I was trying to initiate some RP at the beginning of episode 2. Now, Trent definitely tried to help with that. Grim, your character was off by the doorway. It didn't happen, but give me 1 second. Sorry.
That's what I think about that.
Okay.
Okay. Don't worry, this is getting edited out, so you guys can say whatever you gotta say. If you got any jitters out, get it right now.
Okay. So we're gonna move on. Grim, your character tried to slip away. If I remember correctly, you failed.
I did. It failed terribly. I think I rolled like a 12 or something like that, and everybody rolled higher than a 12 when I snuck away. Everybody, I think, everybody except for Blandis, I think, was the only one, but he had his back to me, so it was like kind of, yeah, I did that.
Well, we've also kind of got this whole like Blandis doesn't give a shit about anything.
Yeah, it definitely feels like Blandis is. I feel like the 2 that are pushing the party away the most, though, would probably be Blandis and Tyrrell. I mean, I know my characters try to sneak away, but I feel like Blandis and Tyrrell are both like, I don't give a fuck, leave me alone. Just you do you, I'm gonna do me.
Yeah, maybe they're lost in thought, trying to figure out why they're here or something.
I would say so.
Blandis, Tyrrell, you guys wanna?
Yeah, no. For Blandis is more just like, I don't really know y'all, so I don't care what you do. It's just as long as we get out, he doesn't care. It's not more like I don't want to be near you. It's just I don't care what you do.
Yeah, Tyrell's more of a. I mean, I feel like I've said it before, and I don't mind saying it again, and that's okay. But Tyrell literally just does not care about anyone, and that could change. That could change. 100%. That could change. But
okay. Now, the one thing I do want to ask is, out of this entire party, Trent and B, your characters are the only ones that have true history. And you guys kind of recognize Blandis. We rolled on this in episode 2, and there was some similarities. Now, going forward, are you guys planning on trying to explore that more? And I'm talking to all 3 of you on this, not just Trent and B. Are you guys going to all try and expand on the fact that you guys may have ran into each other, and it might have been more than one time in the past? Oh, we gotta wait.
Yep, just hold on.
Yep.
I'll be right back.
Do 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 do.
Toilet paper.
Do 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 do.
By the way, it's not rape if you yell surprise first. I hope he realizes he's gone. He's sitting there like, yeah.
Oh, I just realized something, Reaper.
What's up?
Actually, no, I'm gonna wait for when he's back because it has to do with a conversation we have to have later. Remember?
Oh, yeah. And wait for it. Right, drum roll.
Give us a
Fucking
drum roll.
Stupid, dude.
It's all right. Just get your camera back on, and we'll start right where we left off. Don't even worry about it, dude. This isn't live. We're not there yet. We'll figure out, or we might even start
Definitely
doing Zoom calls or something like that.
getting
I was gonna say, or Skype or something
definitely
like
getting
that.
a new
Fuck
PC.
Skype.
Well, something.
Okay.
Anyways, so Trent B and Hamster, you know, are you guys planning to maybe explore this history a bit, or kind of
Well, I
give
can
the
assure
viewers?
you that Eamon was certainly exploring something.
We're not there
That's
yet.
a little bit later. We're not there yet.
We're not
Keep it
there
in your
yet.
pants.
No, we've actually already talked about this off camera, and we both agreed that for now, I think we're going to be keeping it to ourselves. But certainly knowing of him and perhaps even knowing him is going to play into maybe should loyalty come into question, it might play into who we choose to side with.
Well, and then Hamster, did it spark curiosities from Blandis, or is he still in that I'm just trying to get out of here and you're going to help me, don't fuck it up?
A little bit. There's a little bit of curiosity, partly because the cat being a wife, but like, he's still very like, I just want out of here. You know, okay, you recognize a Goliath. They're not hard to spot in a crowd, so.
Well, true, but I mean, Goliaths, the way I understand, the way I see a Goliath, and the way you put it in your backstory is rolling tribes, and seeing one out by itself is definitely interesting. So that's the only reason I'm kind of tugging out that one. But anyway, so we're gonna go forward a little bit, and you guys go through a tunnel. You know, Telerian Stormclaw ended up going out ahead. You ended up finding a shield, which we ended up passing off to
Eamon.
Trent.
Yes.
Yeah, Amon, or Eamon, and but I think the reasoning for that were the gloves that we ended up finding for you, and that kind of made you feel better, which actually got used twice, but we're not getting into that, not yet. Go wait for episode 3.
I think. Oh no, I didn't. The guy readied his bow. He never got a chance to fire it.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was excited to use those. When we start talking about episode 3, you'll see how they come into action, and you'll see how they fail a little bit too. No spoilers there. But no, it was nice to see. I know that the Game Master Reaper definitely kind of put some things in our path that definitely, for the fight that's ahead, that we haven't seen yet on YouTube, which is YouTube straight after Grandma's basement, by the way. That's Grandma, by the way. Grandma doesn't have the apostrophe in it, so if you search with an apostrophe, I've been looking for it like that, and it doesn't pop up. So if you're searching for straight out of Grandma's basement, do not put an apostrophe in there. It's just straight out of Grandma's basement, all one word, no symbols in it. So, but
plus the art you guys are seeing in the podcast that you guys are clicking on is the same art you're gonna find on the YouTube channel, so it should be really easy to find.
Right, and starting with this episode, you guys probably saw. I'm sorry, starting with episode 4, you'll see a new thumbnail for the podcast, which was also created by Trent. That has what we're now calling Sogby, because it's straight out of Grandma's basement, the acronym for that. So it's Sogby. It's us.
I like it.
We are the Sogby. So I guess like all of you followers out there are all the soggy bottoms. So with that being said, though, we found some great items. some items that are, man, they're going to be so useful in the fights ahead for those of you
Mm-hmm.
who are getting ready to watch. And we're even useful in the next fight. I mean, they still definitely helped out.
Well, I think honestly, because Blandis didn't put on the boots.
Not yet, no.
You put on the gloves.
I did,
and
right away.
Eamon put on the shield on his back, but he never actually used it.
Well, yeah.
And
yeah. Sorry, I'm
well,
like, yeah, he did.
then,
I'm like, wait, no, he didn't. Never mind.
then there was that staff, which I can't remember the exact name off the top of my head right now, but it's like Staff of the Forest or something like that.
Staff of the Wild Tree or some shit. Yeah, like
or the Wilderness or something. And
Staff of the Woods.
Staff of the Woods.
Okay,
Thank you,
cool,
Trent.
cool. Yeah, thank you.
Which, I mean, to be honest, a lot of people that, veteran D&D players, you're like, oh my God, you're giving them such good shit. And it's like, yeah, honestly, I'm kind of wanting to be generous with items, but I'm very much taking into effect with everybody's class and their characters, and I'm trying to find items that they can actually use that makes sense, that their character, like I'm going to use Grimm's character for an example. Those arrow snaring fucking gloves, you were like, you don't want to be armored. I was like, okay, so bracers are out. Any kind of armor, period, I was like, not for you. I was like, okay, so what else could I use for Grimm? And I found these gloves, and they said of the arrows snaring or whatever, and I'm like, that's it. But the other thing is we found out that your class is going to get that anyways.
Right. I think
at
it's
a later
like level 2 or 3. I get that automatically, and it'll actually the monk class is actually better at it than the gloves are even. So those gloves will probably be getting passed off to another character at some point.
I would say Tyrell.
It would either be, I would actually say either Tyrell or to Rye. The reason I say Rye maybe would be because she is going to be majority of the time she's going to be a backline character and would probably be dealing with ranged attacks more. Whereas myself, Tyrell, Blandis, and Eamon usually kind of get into the fight a little bit. So I mean, I would lean more towards Eamon or Rye, just because Eamon, we haven't said this yet, but Eamon found that oath bow, so he might be sitting more in the back lines using his oath bow, and also Rye would be in the back using magic. So
he didn't find the oath bow until
yes, he did. After the first goblin fight. We haven't talked about, we're not there yet, but the first goblin fight in episode 2, we found it in the barrels.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I meant. Like before
and I actually
the
think
first
that's
actual
where
encounter.
we found my missile snaring.
In the staff.
Is that where it was? I could have sworn.
I can't remember what we found. I'll be honest with you, I can't remember what we found underneath the boulder. I know we found the speed boots, the cloak of the bat, and there was something else. But the boots and the cloak were the first things. Then we found one other item, and I honestly, I'm sorry, I'm blanking right now as to what they were. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'll try and look it up without.
I'm doing it right now.
Oh, are you? Okay, cool. You're already there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, and then we fought another round of goblins. Now, the first kill, if I'm not mistaken, was by Eamon, was it not? Of the second encounter? Because I think I hit him. I just don't think I killed him.
I believe you hit him, and then I picked him off with the
With a bow, right?
Yeah, it was just my longbow at the time.
Blandis, am I wrong? You tried to attack and missed as well?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's been so
Is
long,
that-
guys. With the holiday season, we're
Okay.
really screwed up. So I apologize if we're like trying to find the words. But Blandis' stealth check definitely gave us away. Blandis, I think you rolled a 7. Like at that point, like
Yeah, bread rolls are tough.
but
Potion of healing, cloak of the bat,
That's what it
boots
was,
of
potion.
speed.
it was a potion.
Yeah.
And then in the second one, we found the staff, the gloves of missile snaring, and then we
Mhm.
also found the oath bow.
Yeah, so the shield was found, the boots of speed, and the cloak of the bat, and then a potion of healing
Which we gave to Eamon,
was right.
who
If you'd like to see where we're getting our own items wrong, go ahead and watch that episode.
yeah.
Oh shit.
She'll have our character sheets pulled up. So yeah, now I will say this: there was a bit of a dispute, and Scar, I want to put you kind of on the spot. Are you having trouble getting into your character? Because I mean, at one point, I know you're like I don't want to be an asshole, like, but I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of asking, and if you don't want to say it, like, you don't have to say it. Is your character an asshole? Like, is he really just like, I literally am just using you guys to get out of this cave, and I'm gonna get the fuck out of here the second I can?
He's like 90% of him is that. The other 10%, like literally, he could have let Amon fall down this, the flight of stairs.
Which is another thing, which is why I was asking,
Which
because you're like the rolls are the
again-
rolls. But at the same time, I know you being a friend of mine, you wanted to say, all right, man, all right, here, have the cloak. But then you were also like, but my character wouldn't give it to you, and you were trying to find a hard way.
Right.
And like, that's the hardest thing I know for new D&D players. It was for me, trying to stick to your alignment. It's so hard not to just be like, hey, we're in a party, let's help each other. If you're a chaotic evil character, or even a neutral evil character, you really you're kind of like, I'm about me, dude. Like, fuck you. As long as I survive, who gives a shit, you know?
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
And
anything
that's
neutral to evil, absolutely.
that's why. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, most even experienced people have issues, especially running neutral, because it's like, how do you find the motivation to stop a world calamity when you're just like, I'm pretty sure I could live through this if I just go into that hole over there.
Right.
Fuck all y'all,
Exactly.
and I'm out.
Well,
That's
that's why I'm kind of, because I am chaotic neutral, I feel like I'm at liberty to play it off as, you guys are a means to an end for me.
Ooh, so you're
pretty
chaotic
much.
neutral.
Oh, is that not something?
No,
I
it's
should
something we
say?
don't know. Like, I told you guys last episode that I was neutral evil. And even then, I was just barely on the evil side. Like, I use the Knights of the Old Republic kind of scale. You have the blue side and the red side, and you kind of start off in the middle in the campaign. Mine is leaning more towards the red than anything else, but it's not there. It's not completely there. It's just kind of teetering towards that red side than anything else, because of things that have happened in my past that have leaned me towards there. So you're more of the chaotic stuff. So you're just wanting to see. You kind of want to see the world burn, but as long as you survive, almost with a chaotic neutral.
Basically.
Right.
But
okay.
there's a lot to it that I can't say.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
So how's everybody else feeling about the party? Like, that's one thing. So in episode 1, you guys all witnessed Terral fucking snap that fucking goblin's neck and like quiver in an ecstasy-filled orgasmic non-orgasm. Trent and B, how did Amon and Ray fucking feel about this person that's now in their party, who got pleasure from killing this goblin? Like, it was literally like ecstasy. How do your characters feel about this character being here?
She had to step away for a moment, but I'll speak for her since we've talked about this stuff. I know her character, her little kitty cat, was definitely scared, and Eamon just kind of shrugged it off. Honestly, he was like, "Oh, cool, another loony."
Okay, well, that's a lot simpler.
I mean, to be honest with you, so much so that he shook my hand. He was just like, "Oh, that happened. All right, hey, how you doing?" And he was like, "Hey, Telerian, I'm Eamon," and I was like, "Oh, all right, cool." seem like a decent dude.
He
And,
was like, "Whoa, did you see that? Hey, how are you?" Hi.
yeah, pretty much. It's like, well, alrighty then. It was definitely one of the it was kind of like one of those Ace Ventura moments. He's like, okay now, take care then, bye then.
Yeah. So so we're gonna move on. So the first encounter, you guys end up going through that little cave. It wasn't very far. I will tell you, I thought about making more tunnels. I thought about making it larger, but I'm really glad I didn't for how long
glad
each
you
of these
didn't.
episodes. Yeah, because these episodes are a lot slower than I thought it was going to be. Dude,
Yeah.
I honestly figured there was going to be a lot more streamlining going through this intro than there has been. Like we've got 6.5 hours worth of video, and we're not even anywhere close to where I thought we would be.
Yeah.
I think it's going to
Yeah,
start picking up a little more.
I think
once things start rolling.
I think it might progress faster, depending on where we're at, and as far as if we take RPing where we want to take it, but honestly, I know where it's long and slow, but honestly, like, I like it that we're getting to the nitty gritty details about stuff, like, we're actually, instead of, like, I'm not, other D&D channels that I've watched, they'll just, they don't do the whole, okay, I'm gonna roll for perception. Okay, I see this. Okay, you see this guy. Okay, I'm gonna roll for history and see if maybe I can identify. They don't do that, and that's okay that they don't do it. But I like it that we do.
Well, I will say, have you been watching Glass Cannon?
No,
Okay. So Glass Cannon does do all of that, and that's where I'm getting a lot of the ideas. It all made sense to me, and that's why I'm doing it this way. I'm taking a lot from this channel, and that is another podcast. And I know we're talking about it. We're not affiliated whatsoever,
But something we like.
Yeah, it's a great group of guys. And
We would love to be affiliated, though.
Yeah.
Wouldn't mind talking
With
to
either
him.
them or Critical Role, I mean, they're both great podcasts.
Well, while we're
absolutely.
shouting out streams, what I was referring to was Road Bear. They're long campaigns, and it's crazy. He's got like 12 campaigns going on with 60 different people. It's insane. But they go through, and I'm actually, it's cool. Way side note, me watching them is I'm learning from it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But they're very straightforward to the point at times, more than we are, and again, that's okay. I'm glad we do how we do it, and that's my bottom line. Like,
Right.
I know it's taking long, but I think it makes things more memorable.
Well, also you're seeing the trials and tribulations of newer players, and I mean, I know Blandis is how many Hamster? How many games are you in currently? Like right now?
Just one, other than this one.
Okay, so
and that was his first game that he's already
that's
started.
my first ever D&D campaign. Was that one.
and how far are you in? Like how many campaigns or how many? I'm sorry, I'm trying to put it in episodic for form. How many sessions? Thank you. How many sessions have you sat through so far?
We've been playing like just about every Saturday since August.
Oh shit! Okay, so a minute. You've been playing for a minute then.
Yeah,
About 16.
but I mean, we're still like only on like I think chapter 4 or 5 of the story.
Okay,
out of like 16 chapters, so it's taking a while.
So yeah, so you guys aren't really flying through it either.
No.
All right, so question for you: are you finding it at all difficult to separate Blandis from your other character, like when you're role playing?
No, it's more like the different homebrew rules that we have here. We run it a little different over there. That's the hardest thing for me right now, is having that separation. But I think because my characters between this one and the other one are so different, it's not really that hard.
Oh, okay, good. What are you playing, if you don't mind me asking, in the other one?
I was going to ask that too.
Yeah, I'm playing I was playing a Dragonborn Life Domain Cleric, but because of some homebrew story and some bad rolls, he's now a Death Domain Cleric.
Oh, dude, that is awesome.
Nice.
What color Dragonborn are you?
Black.
So you're what? Black is fire?
Acid.
Oh, acid.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
Reaper and I were talking about, like, we're trying to figure out who in this party was gonna be the first to like should there be a player kill, who's gonna be the first one to bring their next character in as a Dragonborn. So I mean, are
I
you
kind of want to.
you kind
I
of want
kind of
to?
want to.
Okay.
I
I know I've
could
said
send
that I
Blandis out swinging.
I,
You just say the word.
Here we go. Reaper's just like okay. Reaper and I talk a lot off of podcasts. We metagame unfortunately so much because of it, and like I do my absolute best to never ever bring that in to the game and keep it out. I think I've done a pretty decent job so far.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only thing that I'll spoil like a future episode a little bit, just smidgen. There's a character swap coming up soon for me. How it happens, I'm not going to spoil anything, but in episode 3, there was some things happening, and that character swap was almost forced sooner.
Yeah.
So I know Scar was sitting there. We said after episode 3, he's like, "What the hell was about to happen?" You and Reaper were texting back and forth. What the hell was going on? That's what was going on. He's like, "Do you want me to bring in your character to help save the day?" And I was like, "No." And then like right at the very end, I'm like, "Dude, you got to bring him in. You got to bring him in, dude. You got to bring him in." Because we get into some trouble. I'm not going to say what happens. Obviously, I don't want to spoil anything. But you guys have to watch episode 3.
So to get you hyped for episode 3, this is not my goal. It really, really isn't. But I almost, for my very first campaign, very first homebrew campaign, TPK'd the party. Like,
For
I
those
understand.
of you who are new to Dungeons
we'll
and
get
Dragons, TPK is total party kill. So just to clarify that, because I was unsure of the acronym when I first heard it as well, I wanted to relay that on.
Yep. Yeah. And so what we're gonna do is, because we're kind of getting off topic here for this one. So what we're going into is the first fight, and there were 3 goblins in this one as well.
There was 3. I thought there was only 2. I thought there was just the one guy behind the curtain and the one guy behind the wall.
No, there was 3. I'm pretty sure.
I'll be honest with you, I don't remember. Like
I
I said, the holidays screwed us all kinds of up. We're gonna be on more of a regular schedule once the holiday season is over. At the start of the new year, we're gonna be releasing these on a regular basis, so you guys will actually have these on a more regular basis, so you guys can know when to expect them.
Closer together,
right,
and everything.
Right.
So either way, so 2 or 3 goblins, and the one thing I want to talk about is you guys get spotted. Terral, we got to talk, man. How did Terral feel after all the failed attempts at using that cloak? Because I think it was 3 or was it 4 times?
I think it was 4.
Because wasn't it like 2 of them were 1s? Like, you were getting so upset, and I don't blame you, because I would have been getting so frustrated that I couldn't roll to do what I wanted to do.
Well, I mean, I think we RP'd it pretty well that, he's not used to it. Plus, the whole attunement issue and whatnot.
Right.
But I, not Terral, I hated the game with my entire being. 100%.
I could feel it through the mic. I could just feel the hate.
There was heat.
There was so much coming through, because you roll and you're like, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
I wanted to crush something.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, I think after one of the rolls, you actually muted your mic for a second, didn't you?
I can't remember.
I can't remember either. But like, if you go back and watch the video, and because you guys will, if you're listening to this, you guys have already seen episode 2. So go back and watch the video if you or unless it's fresh in your mind, and you leave a comment. And if you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment below and let us know how many rolls he did, and if he muted to the point where you could probably see him cursing off a mic. So because
give us a timestamp. Give us a timestamp.
Yeah, timestamp, because I want to tag that in the descriptions. Skip to when Scar starts cursing.
Me personally, Terral, Terral is very, without getting too spoily, he's patient. You know, he's
Right.
keen at learning new things. You know, he's not opposed to learning new things and, you know, trial by error type of thing. It definitely pissed him off, but it pissed me off more than it pissed off Terral. I'll say that.
So you're saying your character is bringing you a new sense of patience.
Oh.
Namaste. Namaste. You're
Okay,
learning to
so
center yourself.
so let's get to the next items real quick. So you guys end up killing them. It actually wasn't that hard for you guys on this fight. I think now that you guys had your equipment, everything was a lot easier. It felt like it wasn't.
I actually don't think anybody
I
took
don't know,
damage in that
as
first
trying-
fight. Or in that second fight.
I don't think. No, I don't think he did. I don't think anybody did on that one because they kept trying to hit Blandis, and Blandis with his fucking ridiculous ass AC, you can't fucking
18,
touch
baby.
him. Yep.
Yeah, because he threw the axe at him and then stood right next to him, and he's like yeah, like he's like goading him, just like, I'm the biggest bitch. Go ahead and reach your tiny little goblin hands up here and try and hit me in my fucking big Goliath dick.
Yeah. Which they probably still can't reach. Anyways, you guys end up doing that. You guys end up finding more items, which is where the oath bow came in that we were talking about earlier. And in episode 3, you guys will see we end up really talking about it a whole lot more, and most of the items, and really, well, at the end of episode 2, we talk about the Staff of the Woods. Pretty
Actually,
in-depth.
don't think. No, we don't.
No, I thought
No,
we did.
We ended episode 2 right as Scar. He's in polymorph form. He's just getting ready to go inspect the Great Chamber.
Oh, the lower cave.
The Great Hall.
The lower tunnel.
So no,
yeah.
he explored the lower tunnel.
Oh,
Yeah, the upper
and-
one.
Right as he's about to go into the Great Hall is when we end the episode. He rolls the natty
Okay.
20,
right.
and then that's it. And then you know, we kind of decided that would probably be the best stopping point, because it was almost exactly halfway through what we had recorded so far.
Okay.
So, which, yeah, that one session was 6.5 hours, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, that was a
Yeah.
long session. That was,
yeah.
we started that, I believe, at Eastern time. I think we started at 11:30 Eastern time, and we didn't stop till 6 in the morning.
But I'll tell you, when we're playing in our campaigns, it's like we're in a hyperbolic time chamber. We have no idea the time's
Agreed.
going like it is.
I think
I can assure you, B is very aware of the time passing.
well, I think the only thing that I think the only thing that caught up to B though was just the fact that she hit that wall, and like us as gamers, we know our wall is a little bit further on, and B is just starting to get more into gaming, like from what you've told me. So I just give her a couple more episodes, and we'll see how much her gamer wall gets pushed.
Yeah. So you guys end up finding these better items. So I kind of want to talk about everybody's character. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about all the items in general that everybody ended up getting. So Trent, Eamon, how when he picked up that bow, what now? I can't remember. Were you told what it could do then, or was it? I think it was right then that you got told what it was.
By his wife.
Yeah.
Yes.
She had rolled, I think, a nat 20 on her Arcana check, and as we mentioned before, I'm not sure if we've mentioned it before. She sounds like a cat to everyone else. However, I guess you can say I'm attuned to her, or she's attuned to me, and thus we can speak fluently, almost as if she's a familiar. That being said, she told me pretty much immediately what it was, and he immediately thought, "Oh, that's a perfect fit."
Yeah. Okay. Cool. How did B? How did Ray feel about the staff of the woods? Like, how did she feel about it? Because it resized for you.
Oh right, it did resize, so now it fits in my kitty paws.
Mhm.
I believe
How'd you feel? If I
Uh,
handed you a magical staff that resized to you and you can suddenly do magic shit with it, how would you feel?
Okay, she felt excited, and the first thing she wanted to do was stand on her hind legs and use it. Just
Okay.
point it, not knowing what it did. Um, she thought it was really cool.
Okay. Cool. I would ask Blandis, but Blandis didn't give no shits about these boots of speed
Well,
at all.
nobody said anything. Nobody had told
Well,
me it.
yeah. Well, not in the
at the
episode
moment.
2. Right. We're talking
Under
like
kinky
right here
boots.
on episode 2. Blandis didn't give a fuck. He was just like, "Oh, these are boots. Cool."
Yeah, because he thought they were
Right?
regular boots. Nobody said like, "Hey, they do this thing." It's
Yeah.
just, here's some boots. I was like, okay.
And then so then we're going to talk to Tyrell here. Actually, no, let me do Telerian first. So we kind of touched based on your gloves, and I want to get this done, and then we'll talk about Tyrell because I really want to hear about that. These gloves, when you found out what they could do, like how did Telerian feel?
Well, I mean, he instantly felt like closing the gap's going to be a little bit easier because you know we all know playing D&D, you know, you're only moving 30 feet at a time, maybe 60 feet if you're dashing, but just to know that we're in a goblin encampment, goblins love using short bows. So this was definitely one of those things where I was like, okay, closing the gap's gonna be a little bit easier because even if I'm hit, I can reduce the damage. I think it was 1d10 plus my dex modifier, so up to I think it's 12, if I'm not mistaken.
So.
I think that's what it is. So I mean, I'm not looking at my character sheet currently, so I couldn't tell you exactly. But so basically, I mean, it was just nice knowing that either I could stay at range, throw my darts, or I can get right up in your face and close the distance, and not have to worry about, you know, projectiles as much. I mean, obviously I know it, you know, still, you know, my AC is still low, so I still have to worry about them and still have to worry about, you know, the
Your
rolls.
HP's low too.
Right. I only have 9 HP to start. I mean, you know, God, I cannot wait to level this character up. And see, I see your face. I hope it's soon. I really can't wait to see his progression, and because I've played the monk class once before, and I only made it to level 3 before he died, and he went out like a badass. My last monk, actually, I held a move action, and when our tank was about to get hit with the final blow, I asked the DM if he would allow me to do an acrobatics check and see if I could dive in front of the blade that was about to impale him and take all the damage. He allowed me to do so. I passed the dexterity check and took the entire brunt. And I was only, I think, at like 2 HP, and the damage was dealt because it was a critical, and it killed me. It put me below my constitution and actually killed me immediately. So it was a rough moment because I was hoping that it was just going to knock me unconscious and I was going to be able to be revived from it after the tank did his job. Especially being that it was a paladin. So I was like, okay, this is great. You know, I'm going to take this damage real quick. I'm going to go unconscious. His turn was right after that character's turn. And then, you know, he was going to revive me, but it ended up not being that way. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited to kind of get in the fray, and yeah.
All right, so Tyrell. So we're definitely going to talk to you about this Cloak of the Bat. Like, we kind of touched base on how you were torn about giving it up to Telerian, and now that your character's had it, like how does he feel about this cloak that he's been that you know he found? Because I don't remember who rolled. I think you rolled pretty well for your own. It was either that or B did. I can't quite remember. But
Yeah,
I mean,
B and I both are. I'm not going to spoil ahead of time, but our Arcana rolls are basically on par for the entire party.
yeah. But
Like-
well, let's talk about the item because you failed to use it multiple times. We're not going to give an exact number because none of us remember. But on that number, like, you know, he's struggling to use this, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I mean, initially he's probably like super excited to get it, and then now trying to learn it. Like you say that he's a patient character.
Yeah, he's very patient. He's a watch from the shadows and study and learn, and you know, uh, the thing about the cloak though, there's three aspects of the cloak that are very important. You get the polymorph to a bat, you get the dash movement speed, which you have to roll for.
Well, it's the fly.
What is-
You can fly with it in
fly,
dark.
increasing movement speed, and then you also get a dexterity bonus to your stealth checks.
Yeah, you get
So,
to roll with
advantage.
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 Yes.
Which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
why
yeah.
I
So-
wanted it, because I'm a stealth character.
Well, you both kind of
Well,
are.
Yeah, I am too.
Um,
But the third aspect of it that I was failing, you know, which this is actually the second episode, you know, I don't master it, but you know, I'm zipping back and forth. I finally actually get it and I'm flying back and forth, but to roll having this cloak, I feel is very paramount to
Mhm.
what we're doing in the campaign.
So I'm not gonna lie. I originally put that cloak in there for B's character. That was my initial thought. I was like, a little cat
Really?
that fucking flies. I mean, she's a wizard. She could fucking fly up into the air, cast a
cat.
fucking spell, and fucking fly away. As long as it's
Holy
dark
shit.
out. That was my whole thing. That's exactly was my idea. And
So
That makes
are you
see, like, this is
tell
interesting.
tell us yeah, I want to
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious. Let's ask the DM this now. What were these items, the other items for? Who were you intending?
So the oath bow went to Aemon like I thought. The ring was technically for Aemon just because he's the ranger, but
The what?
honestly,
What item was supposed to
Aemon?
be?
his ring. Oh, that's nope, wrong
That's a
wrong
spoiler.
episode. My bad.
I was like,
Spoiler.
To find out what ring
Cut
we're
this.
talking about, stay tuned for the
Wait,
next
At least I
episode.
didn't
Cut
say
this.
what it was.
no,
Cut
we're,
this.
I didn't
not
say
cutting
what
it.
it
We're
was.
not cutting it.
No, that's fine.
Keep on rolling with that.
But the gauntlets were for Delirian. The staff was also for B. But the thing is the stuff for like Delirian hasn't come out yet. There are specific items in there for him. Blandis, I've said this during the episodes, and I could tell you, dude, Blandis, because of how hard he can hit, you know, more times than not with your bonuses and your AC, your character, I haven't really put a lot in there for you. Like the boots of speed were for Grim, honestly, because he's a monk.
Really?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, you got to think a monk.
You
when
got to
you're-
get up close.
Yes. So if you're doing double your speed and you go to dash after you click your heels, that's 120 feet in a round. So if you dash 60 feet, boom, 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 beat the fuck out of somebody, or just run 30 feet, and then you know you want to fucking get the fuck out of dodge. Technically, you could, or you can go 30 feet and then do 30 and then dash 90 feet away
Right.
and be like, "What up, motherfucker?" You know. There's actually one other item in there for you as well.
For me or for
for you?
Okay.
I'm searching for Blandis. It's just really tough because I don't want to increase his AC yet, just because it's
That's fair.
really
Masterwork battle
hard
axe.
to build. Well, it's really hard. It's really tough to try and build a balanced enemy to deal with Blandis, who's on my screen is to my left, and not kill the rest of you. and it sucks because I don't want to metagame and make him have a bonus against Blandis, and then not have such a easy time to hit you guys. Like, to be perfectly honest, in episode 3, if Blandis didn't do what he did, like, it probably would have happened
The TPK
a lot
you're saying,
quicker. Yeah.
Which
Um,
that's not a spoiler. We're not getting TPK'd.
No.
The party does survive. Well, most of us.
Barely.
Maybe.
Yeah, mostly.
I don't know. Watch it. See what happens.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know. The items, without trying to get
So what about
Too
what about
crazy.
the gauntlets? Was that intended for Grimm's character?
The missile snare?
yes. Yeah. Yep. That was intended for him as well. Like I said, you've got your own stuff in the thing. It just hasn't rolled for you yet. But every time the big
Ah.
item gets taken, I take it off the list. It's gone. Cannot be grabbed. Cannot be rolled again.
So is it a possibility
gone.
for another Boots of Speed?
No, that got taken out. You guys are going to have to
That
do
is-
that amongst yourselves.
That is, I would say that is a bunch of bullshit, sir. Yes. Oh, hello there.
Well, but yeah, the items wise, I think most of the stuff you guys are going to end up finding is going to be on these characters.
On the people
But
we loot.
Blandis does have exactly, the looting is where most of that's going to come from. And man, I don't know, like I want to give you guys certain things because, you know, like, one, in my head I'm like, God, that would just make things so much easier for the party. But then on the other side, I'm like, I'm the fucking DM. I don't care how easy it is for you guys. You guys have to convince me, even though I want you to have this thing, I need to look at it from this fucking, you know, this point of view and be like, give me a valid reason.
Yeah, you want us to have
Like-
fun,
like-
but at the same time, you don't want us to freaking die and lose the character that we spent a long time creating. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
so real quick, I got a question for little Miss Kitty.
Uh-oh.
You there, B?
B.
Heyo.
Hey, B. Why you snaking gold coins and not sharing it with the party, huh? Because I wanted to ask you that during game, but I mean, like, you know, I can't metagame, so yeah, what the fuck?
Cause Rye doesn't know who she can trust. She can only trust Eamon because she knows him.
Mm-hmm. Likely story.
Which is shocking for her character, by the way. Like, I mean, it makes sense though. Like,
Oh, it does.
her thought process, spot on. That's exactly it. You two are a pair. You guys know each other. You guys trust each other. You guys are, you know, married, the whole nine. And now you're just with these 3 other fucking strangers who could very easily just kill you in your sleep. You don't know.
One of which she called an asshole.
Or just walk up and disappear.
Yeah, you don't know what's gonna happen. You know, you could be traveling with these guys for the next 3 years in this world, and then one day they're all gone, and then you don't know.
Possibility. Depends on her
Yeah.
fucking GM. All right, so I gotta say one of my favorite moments of the entire episode was getting to, because Scar is like literally our parents both said we were separated at birth when we first started hanging out. My mom was like, this guy acts exactly like my son, and then his mom said, dear Jesus, did I have twins and not know it? Like, I mean, like, literally we said it. So for me to have, I think, yeah, my first kill, I mean, I know it's not technically my kill, but like my first real big assist kill be with Scar was really nice for me in that that silent kill against the goblin laying in bed. So I just wanted to say, like, did you feel like the adrenaline rush like I did when we killed that dude? Like,
I did like it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was intense for me too. Not just Tyrol, but I liked it. Yeah, it struck a nerve, a good nerve for me.
Like, dude, honestly, like what did it for me in that very moment was Grim, like everybody was getting ready to start migrating in there, and Grim's like, my character goes.
Yeah, everybody's coming down the
putting my
stairs,
hand
just
behind
like.
me.
Oh, by the way, the stairs that were made of stone
Yes.
because of my low
Yes.
rolls. That was the greatest. I rolled like a 2 or 3 perception.
Yeah.
And Reaper goes, the stairs are made of stone. I walk out, guys, stairs made of stone. The stairs over there are made of stone.
That was great for me because you did that, and I was like, "What do I tell you that you don't already know?" Like,
While
you know,
while we're on the subject of the stone, I've got 2 questions. First question. Reaper.
yo,
Had someone not grabbed Amon,
he would have took damage.
just damage.
Oh, the stairs go down a long ways, my friend. You guys were probably on those stairs for about 5 minutes, 5 to 10.
Okay.
Like
okay.
you got to think,
Sec-
like they're spiraling down for 5 minutes, right? How far could you go down a set of stairs that are spiraling down in 5 minutes?
Probably about 10 flights.
I've never been down.
Pretty,
I've never
pretty
been down a
fucking
spiral
far, right?
Yeah,
staircase
probably about
before.
100 feet, yeah.
I have one right here. Anyways,
Oh, I see.
I've actually been in the catacombs in Paris and have been I think it's like 250 feet below Paris.
it doesn't take long.
For anybody who is claustrophobic, dear God, don't ever do it because I'm mildly claustrophobic. And I would say about 3/4 of the way through, it finally sunk in. Because as you're getting down, like you gotta remember, French people, well, really most people were like only like 5, like the average person was like 5'6", 5'7", or something like shit like that. And they were all shorter. So all these tunnels, like I'm sitting here like this, walking around the entire time. For those of you who can't see me, my neck is just cranked sideways. And on top of that, the catacombs are literally filled with skulls and bones as far as the eye can see. They just buried mass amounts of people in there. So yeah, so I'm just giving relative terms, but yeah, it was really, when I started really going, I literally was pushing people out of the way, and in this narrow ass spiral staircase going upwards, I was like, I'm about to fucking pass out. Like I gotta get out of here. I'm about to freak the fuck out. You guys need to get the hell out of my way. And this one old lady was just like, I ain't moving any faster. I'm like, okay, lady, but you got it.
Like,
So, yeah.
If he had falled, honestly, my thought was as I was going to roll a couple D100s to figure out how far the broken staircase went. And then once that happened, like it was going to boil down to, it was going to fall from one flight of stair to the next one. And if that one was broken, I was going to figure it out. So if it was broken again, he was going to basically hit. It's going to take a 1d6 or a 1d4 damage. And he's going to go and he's going to hit again. And he's going to take more damage. Because you got to think, you know, honestly, in D&D world, you know, if Blandis is walking down this shit, it's at least 6 feet tall. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that's 6
Right.
feet, 6 feet.
Yeah.
You know,
I got you.
Amon could have died in the staircase. Now
That
he would have
really
been passed out. He would have been passed out. There's no way unless it kept falling. Like it's the only way. Like he could have been knocked out.
What?
And then keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going, depending on the rolls.
What did he roll? Was it a 1?
Or
No,
a 2.
it wasn't a critical
super-
fumble. It was low though.
Well, like I made you guys roll because of it. Like your natural dexterity.
You were saying natural dexterity, just so you know.
I know. I'm waiting because he was asking the question.
Just start from your natural dexterity so I can edit it.
Mhm.
You're good, bro. Don't even stress.
Now your natural dexterity is usually like 12, or you know the average person I would say their dexterity is probably a 12, roughly. Even on the lower spectrum, very rarely is it just going to be a 10 for really anything. But I mean, he I think I made the DC like 10, and I'm like, dude, this is super hard unless you roll super low. And he's a dexterity based character. Am I right, Trent? You're muted now.
I mean, technically, I'm charisma based, but yeah.
Well, for your bow and stuff, you should
Yeah.
have a higher dexterity. Yeah, absolutely. So, for him to fail that, I think he rolled like a 2 or a 3, and literally it came down to, I think it was like a 9. So it's not like he like failed like horribly. And if there was going to be a floor below it, I might have allowed him a reflex save to try and grab a ledge.
Okay.
To be honest, like there was like 4 or 5 different like variations, because I didn't expect that to happen, to be honest. And then it did, and I'm like,
Oh snap!
this could be bad.
Now,
In episode, okay, so we've already recorded up to episode 4 for everybody's listening right now. And when you guys get there, you guys get a better understanding of where you're at inside the ground. Like, 'cause, obviously you're in a cave, and everybody's gathered that from the background noise and everything. You guys have all gathered this. Now, fuck, dude. I mean, that could have gone so many different ways.
right.
There could have been a jagged rock underneath and fucking broke something, and where you needed to like treat his fucking wound.
In which case,
know,
episode 3 would have been a lot harder.
Oh, absolutely. You're right.
So real quick, something I want to bring up is what he ended up grabbing onto.
Scar grabbed him.
Right, Scar grabbed his wing. Now I had seen it early in the episode when he was putting on the
Shield.
I had said nothing, and I was the only one who saw it. Then Scar grabbed him by it. Now, Trent, were you trying to like? Is this a sore subject for your character, like having wings? Because I don't know. I've never played with a tiefling with wings.
It's rare.
I
It's
can assure
technically
you, winged tieflings, I don't even think are in the handbook. It's 100% homebrew.
they used to.
Yeah, it's from older versions. In 5e, I don't think it exists. As far as it being a sore subject, I mean, it was certainly sore after he grabbed it, but no, that's to be seen. We're gonna have to play that one out.
Right, because I mean, Scar didn't say anything about it, and I didn't say anything about it, and I think that for both of our characters, it's kind of weird. We both just kind of gave you a look, and then just kept on rolling with it. So I mean, like Scar, why did Terral not say something about it? I know you just kind of said it like, interesting, and I think we said like very few words about it, but then moved right past it.
Terral is used to unnatural creatures.
Okay. That would make sense. So I mean, now I can't remember, Blandis, did you see this happen or no? Like you didn't see the wing itself, right?
He rolled a 1.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
My perception's not working with me right now. It is not going great.
All of our rolls. I'll just say this: all the way through episode 3, our rolls are terrible. I think episode 4, we finally started rolling some fire. I mean, even though
Foundry does not like you guys.
No, it really doesn't. I mean, like I guess they're just trying to make it
doesn't like
difficult. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's calculating how much items we have, and it's just like, you guys are already overpowered as it is. We're gonna fuck your guys' rolls up.
Well, I would like to say this since I said Foundry. Foundry VTT is a freaking cool ass software.
Oh yeah, it's
I
awesome.
played a little bit with Roll20, and we've used Tabletop Simulator.
Oh.
And this, now don't get me wrong, Tabletop Simulator has some cool. It's 3D, the whole 9, but Foundry is way better. There's more that you can do, I believe.
There's more plugins, so I mean, it makes things a little bit more interesting. So then, obviously, we make it down the stairs. We have that amazing stealth kill with Scar and myself, and then we move down the hall, and we have our first interesting moment of the entire show. And Blandis is like, interesting.
Let's just skip this part.
No. This has to be
No.
talked about, because
Okay,
this was a
so-
super interesting. This was a super interesting thing.
So something happened
Oh, that's
where
something. People have already seen the episode. What happened?
Yeah, oh yeah, Eamon massaged his back and
No.
Oh God.
Why did this happen? Trent,
I
like
want to know that too.
Yeah. What? What? What?
What went through your mind that was like, I want to do this?
Actually, what really made me do it was I was like, okay, so what these gentlemen know, what the audience doesn't know, is that I like to, play things to make them interesting. I love making things just really weirdly interesting by just fucking around with it. So I was behind Blandis and I was thinking, okay, there's this big shirtless Hulk in front of him. What would some weird guy do? And so I flipped a coin on my phone and said, okay, I guess I'm gonna try and touch him. And I said, hey Reaper, can I roll to seduce or whatever I said?
Roll perception on the muscles on his back.
Investigate my back. Yeah.
yeah, you were
investigate
trying
my
to
back.
investigate his back muscles. So you guys are walking down this narrow tunnel, and all of a sudden, like, Blandis wasn't out front. It was Terral.
Oh no, it was Bland.
No, I was in the front. I
It
was
was
like looking
you were
ahead.
leading?
It
Yeah,
was
I was
Blandis, Eamon, and we had just
watching
came out of the room, and we see this
That's right.
happening. Like as we're coming out of the room, we're like, "What the fuck?"
That's right. So they're going, and you have this big Goliath, and there was torchlight in front of Blandis, and that's what he was going towards, so he could see. So fucking, he's walking, and all of a sudden, these like thin red. You are red, right? I can't remember what color we
He's
chose.
grayish red.
He's grayish red. Yeah. So these grayish red hands just start doing this all across your back muscles. Like what's going on here?
Yeah.
I'm confused. He was confused, concerned. Like, out of all this at this point, that was one of the two normal people he thought, and then he went and did this. He's like, okay, scratch that one off.
You see, Eamon was just making sure that he really did recognize this Goliath, because
Oh.
that's how he would know.
Oh, is that how you would know?
You know?
So you're just going around tea shops, just feeling up people, and I have to memorize you.
Only my wife's tea shop.
Just a customer that
That's what I
comes
meant.
in,
Sorry.
Yeah.
Everybody's sitting down having a cup of tea, and he's just sitting there going, yeah.
It's part of Eamon's new cam show. It's
You gotta relax.
Fake
No,
tea shop.
relax. Deep breaths.
This is not Earl Grey. This is a nap time tea right here. We're just gonna massage you. Just keep drinking the tea. It's okay. It's okay.
Right here. Just right here. Just
He's
just get
massaging the
with it.
earlobes. Massaging the earlobes. It's like, yeah, yep. You're gonna want to have a lot of sex later.
Okay, no,
so
bigger sip. No, keep going, keep going.
yeah. So what you guys don't know about Eamon is I'm actually level.
I missed that. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Medicine check.
We lagged a little bit. What happened? You're level what?
I'm level 2. I took a level in masseuse.
Oh, nice. I think Talarian's gonna need some after episode 3.
I think it's definitely owed. Almost like an oath, maybe.
The only cantrip I have is a happy ending one.
Oh. Okay, roll over now.
So you guys made it down these stairs. You know, we already talked about the silent death thing. We talked about the awkward moment. Now there's the point now they did show what was down below in episode 2 at the end, right? We did do that.
Yeah, Scar knows what is in the room. He
Right.
doesn't know exactly what's in the room, but he saw 2 quadrupedal animals,
4-legged animals that were snarling and sniffing and drooling, very, very hungry. Terral, we got to talk about this. You went into bat form. First off, how did that feel for the party to see him go to a fucking little bat and start flying away? Whether you knew about the ability or not, I mean, let's touch this here.
Yeah, let's
Careful,
Big
hey, careful
Brandis.
saying touch this in front of Trent.
Well, here, I'll speak to it real quick, and then everyone else can. Honestly, that ability is so. It's just it's almost broken. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like it's to
wasn't
the
for the
point
long
of being
rest thing.
broken. If it wasn't for the long rest, well, no, actually, it's supposed to charge at dawn. Or is
Yeah,
it?
it's after a long rest. It's after a long. You have it's an ability. It's based on rest,
Okay, okay.
I believe,
Um,
or it is the next day. Either way,
I
you're
think it
still
is the
gonna have to
next
sleep.
dawn. Yeah. Um, but being able to do that basically at any time that I have it available, and in further episodes, you'll see that I'm almost tempted to not use it in case, shit hits the fan. But, um, it's got its drawbacks, of course. It comes with the fact that you can't speak to your party members.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's very interesting. Like, I never would have thought that there'd be an item like that that could let you do something like that, which is interesting.
It's the great part about fantasy worlds.
Dude, there's all kinds.
Anything's
So,
possible.
was anybody else spooked out that he turned into a bat? Was anybody's character spooked out that he turned into a bat? Do you think?
I mean, Telerian being at a monastery, he has seen quite a bit of. I mean, being from where I'm from, and on top of that, being at that monastery, I would say Telerian has definitely seen a lot of druidic magic and, magic from monks, magic from clerics, paladins, things of that nature. So I don't think he would necessarily be spooked. Once he kind of realizes, Telerian didn't know what. I rolled terrible on both of my Arcana checks to see what these items were. So I think it would be more or less like when I saw him grab the cloak and he just kind of, turns into a bat. I think it was kind of like, oh, so that's what that does. I think that was more
Yeah.
along the lines of how he felt, and it was like, kind of like even more so like, damn, I wish I had that. But
Mhm.
at the time, it was like, all right, well, since you have it, let's use this to our advantage. Go find out what the fuck we're dealing with. So that's where I'm at.
Is anybody else weirded out? Do you think their characters were, or did everybody else just kind of, oh shit, whatever?
I think
think,
Blandis kind of was.
A little weirded out.
Yeah. Not used to that kind of magic yet.
Okay. Trent.
I'm actually curious. What did Blandis think of the kitty magic?
Oh,
Like
he
the
did touch
kit-
on that.
The kitten using magic?
Mhm.
He's used to the magic part, probably not the kitten part. Like, he's used to people casting and using spells, just not a household cat on two legs.
Yeah, we kind of touched about it on the episode 1. Unfortunately, you guys were traveling, so you missed it. But we kind of threw it in his face and said, it made him feel like a little bit less of a Goliath, badass to kind of see him over here, like he punched this guy that was basically already dead from a fire that she created. And then all of a sudden he turns around, he's like, all right, I'm gonna mess this dude up, and this little cat comes out and just like magic missile's dead, and he's like, oh well, all right.
Well, actually, I think the one she magic missiled, I couldn't see because he was in. There's like a dark
Oh, that's
sliver where I could
right.
not see.
Yeah.
And
Oh no, we said
I
you
didn't-
could
I
because of
didn't
the bonfire that was created.
Yep.
It's just we didn't have it on the map, so
And there
you
was
couldn't see it on Forge
oh.
because we forgot to add the light from the bonfire. But yeah, you could have seen that.
Mhm.
I didn't see him on the map. That's why.
Yeah. Okay, so going past that, Scar, we got to talk about Tyrell and these snarling. I believe I used the word canine
You did.
in my description. Like, he's in bat form for one, and two, they sounded big.
Oh yeah, I mean, again, I believe my perception roll was really low, so I couldn't
Mhm.
identify him completely or something like that. But honestly, I feel like I can't really say much because I'd be spoiling what happens in episode 3 as far as me going to the next room. But it really like puts a lot of weight on my shoulders and Terrell's shoulders as far as trying to choose what would be best for our party to push through, because me not being experienced with D&D, I don't know what these things could do, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was thinking maybe, hey, we could take them, you know, we can take them, and then
Episode 3 rolled around, and I showed you guys more information about him, and you
Yeah.
guys were like, "Oh,
yeah,
like, okay." So
but
if I
without
remember right,
without spoiling, yeah.
well, in episode 2, we did find out what they were, right? Because
No.
didn't Eamon? I thought Eamon.
Episode 3.
Yeah.
Episode 3.
It was episode 3 that you found out what they were.
I think episode 3, you kind of, when we finally decide what our action was going to be, you kind of let us know. At some point, we might have already entered the room, and but before you
No.
actually told us exactly what they were. Like you knew, like I think you.
I remember you told me if I rolled high enough, I'd know what they were from my years of hunting, and
Yes.
Well, and
sorta-
they're your favorite enemy, kind
Yeah.
of deal.
Mhm.
Because goblins
but yes, that
roll
was
with orcs. So
yeah, but
you
that was
know,
episode 3. That was literally
Well,
when we
it
were sitting
was?
down. Yeah, after Scar had come out of the Great Hall, we're making the decision to.
It's episode 3. Don't talk.
No,
about
I'm
it.
just saying we're making the decision on which way to go. That's it. So he's still in bat form. We're making the decision on which way to go, and you decide to roll a nature check. You're right. I remember that, Eamon. Yeah, and you said you rolled a nature check, and you rolled, I think, like a 19. You rolled super high, and yes, you were able to identify. But that is episode 3, so don't spoil what they are just yet, because we want people to see what
Okay.
it was.
But I mean, dude, I could definitely see, like, if it was me playing your character, I definitely think my character at that point in time, realizing the fact that they're big, they're hungry. That was the other thing. That was the other thing I said. They sound like they are hungry,
Right.
which makes them to do anything. They'll do anything for that meal. And you guys were freaking out because
Oh,
you guys
yeah.
couldn't figure out what it was that was down that tunnel and which one to go down. We'll touch base on exactly what they do in episode 3 when it comes out. But I think you guys are gonna lose your shit on episode 3. Like before going in that room, like, how freaked out were all the characters? Because I could tell Telerian was like, "Fuck, dude, what do we do?" Fuck.
Oh yeah, definitely rocking a hard place situation.
Yep.
Terral definitely saw that they were, I mean, from what he could tell and perceive, he saw that they were formidable, but he wasn't going to make any type of a decision as far as whether or not, you know, again, he's analytical. He definitely wants to go check the next room first before he makes a judgment call about whether these beasts should be worth fighting immediately or, you know, what.
I could definitely see Blandis probably is he still kind of in that just I don't give a shit, let's get the fuck out of here mindset, or okay.
Like in the moment, it's like doesn't really matter. Just be ready for a fight, kind of deal. That's what he was kind of thinking.
Trent B, like what were what was your character's thoughts on the sound of these? Because I'm assuming B's character is probably freaking the fuck out because it's canine and it's huge. Like, you're a meal at that point.
She had actually stepped away at that point, so we did rewatch, but she's not super in tune with what was going on. Is what I'll say.
Well, I mean, you were playing the character
yeah.
I'm assuming she was freaking the fuck out.
Oh yeah, she would have been. I imagine Eamon was probably looking at it like, oh, yeah, something I haven't, or something else to shoot.
Yeah, because you're all about hunting and learning about your targets and shit like that.
Or
Okay,
maybe
well,
hearing the canine, he might have been like, oh, puppy.
I don't know if this gets touched in episode 3, but I could definitely tell you guys if you guys watched episode 2 and you're watching it from my perspective, so you kind of get the whole, like, you see me
Oh,
trying
you know
to
what?
find this thing.
You know what's funny? They know If they're
What it
watching,
is.
yeah, if they're watching, they see. Remember, they
Yep,
see
that's
you
right, they
editing
do.
the token of what
Yep.
it is,
Yep.
and they can see what it is. So you guys at home do know that these things are wargs.
Yeah, and
We
wargs are
don't
bad.
know by the end of this episode, but you know. I forgot about that.
Oh,
Yes,
man.
so they do
Yeah.
know. So that's not really spoiling anything. So if you've watched the
Yeah,
episode,
so audience.
What's that, Trent?
I was gonna say, yeah. So audience at home, don't spoil it for us.
yeah, don't spoil it for us.
Yeah, asshole.
So, but yeah, they would have been in for the fight
Yeah.
of their life.
Oh my god, I was trying to put something, and I'll say this, and I'm pretty sure I touched base on this during the actual episode, but I didn't want you guys to go down that tunnel, so I was like, okay, what is big, mean, and would scare them enough to get the fuck out of Dodge and not go down that way? Wargs. What makes the most sense? That, goblins and orcs use as mounts. Wargs. And I was like, is there a warg here? Fucking, I'm scrolling through, warg, and I'm like, yes, because I'm actually like, if you watch the way I'm scrolling, I almost like stop a couple times, and I'm like, no, and then it's like, I think it was like halfway through the list, I was like, warg, and I go for it, and I almost put 3 down to really like put the fear factor in, and then I was really hoping and counting on Trent's character to identify him and understand that it's like, wait, how many are there? And we're in a tight corridor? Oh no, this is bad. This is a bad idea. We do not want to fight those things here. This is not good. We're in their territory. Fuck no. This is a bad idea. And then I'm telling you guys, wait till you guys see episode 3. Episode 3 really fucking just gets kicked
Yeah, I
off.
mean, there's unfortunately there wasn't as much to talk about in episode 2. It's more or less it was the looting episode.
Yep.
Episode 3 is definitely the action episode. So get ready for episode 3. It's going to be a good one. You guys are going to really like this next episode. So
any other questions? Does anybody want to ask me anything about episode 2? We've kind of already done that a little bit, but I figure we could start making this a thing to where on After the Rolls at the end, you guys can pick
Ask the
the
Game
old
Master.
brain. Yeah, pick the old brain on what's going on.
I've asked my questions, to be honest, already.
Yeah, I got nothing.
I think my biggest question would be to you. How are you enjoying your first campaign having to somehow wrangle 5 monkeys?
Hey, Grim, do you know how I know somebody hasn't watched any of the podcast yet?
Yeah, it was.
Oh.
This question was asked, but still,
And
recap it real quick.
Yeah,
Brief synopsis.
Okay, so for my first campaign as DM, Graham put it pretty fucking straightforward because he's the one that asked the question, and the way he asked it was, I was dreading being a DM because I want to play. I've always been a player. I love playing. I love RPing my character. I love to build a character and put it into the world and try and fucking level it to the end. And I was like fucking dreading it. And then like the first episode happened and I was nervous, like almost just because I was anxious. I was scared that I wasn't gonna, that you guys weren't gonna like it. It was a real fear because I'm like, I'm home brewing. This is my first campaign. But I will say at the end of episode 3 or in episode 3, I really lighted up essentially as DM is when I really like.
I think we all catch our groove in episode 3.
Mm-hmm. Episode 3 really starts grooving things along because even like I said earlier, we've already recorded episode 4, and you could definitely see that going from 3 to 4 that the energy's a little bit better. Everyone kind of has a better grasp on their character already, and things are starting to roll. So I think for me, I'm enjoying it to a point, but I'm definitely more of a player than I am a DMer. But I mean, dude, if you guys are enjoying it and I'm doing well, I have no issues with continuing to do so on another campaign, and maybe I'll actually do a module on that one and see how that's written up.
Yeah, like a small 1 to 5er.
Absolutely. As see for something I haven't really mentioned, this is my first campaign as a player. So from the player's perspective, I think you're doing an awesome job, and we're really enjoying it. B and I both. I think everyone here is really enjoying it. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and that's what I like to hear. Because dude, I told him in I think episode 1 on the podcast, I've got some fucking plans. But I will tell you, because you guys obviously didn't watch or listen to it, so I'm a little upset. You, Trent, you need to be.
See, that's the thing. We definitely did, and we just forget.
Oh, okay. Well, see, that's different. You should have defended yourself. Anyways, when you guys in episode 5, if you guys make it to where you guys are going, and that's all I'm gonna really say on that, to not spoil too much. Where you guys choose to go from that point on determines the story. The way I'm running this campaign is it is player driven by choice. I have.
So you're kind of like, you basically have the first 10 pages of the book written and the last 10 pages of the book written, and we're just deciding what. So you're like the old
how to
Goosebumps
get
books.
here.
Like,
Essentially, you're
like
you are.
Flip to page 82 to find out what happens. Flip to page 16 to
I
find out
love
what
those
happens.
books.
Those books were always
I
fun.
love those
Yeah,
books.
those books were always fun.
Yeah. So, like, I have the human. Like, I have 2 bad guys in mind, and depending on how you guys do it, will determine which one of those 2 bad guys you guys have to fight. But the way it's starting to sound, I think it's going to be number 2 and not number 1. Both are fun, by the way. And number 1, you guys won't see coming. That's the best part. You're gonna think you're gonna go, oh, it's him or her, or it's him or her, and you're gonna be doing all this shit, and then it's gonna be maybe that person or that person or that person
Or it could
that
be even
person.
somebody in the party.
It could be somebody in the party.
Plot twist. It was all a mimic.
It was Blandis.
Oh,
Plot twist. We're all actually just dreaming.
It was
This
Brandis's
is all-
muscles.
This is all a dream inside Reaper's head, and he's just gonna wake up at the final battle in the episode, and that's it. That's how the whole thing's gonna end. You're never gonna find out what actually happens to the 5 characters.
With Morning Wood.
Whoa, bazinga!
Hey.
But anyways,
And
that's
with
pretty
that,
much,
ladies and gentlemen,
yeah.
No, well, actually, that is the end. So I mean, we're
Mhm.
probably gonna end it here. Anybody have any final comments on episode 2?
Dude, I'm waiting for 3.
I'm excited for 3.
I'm ready for 3, man.
Yeah, ready to talk about 3.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you like me to send us off, Graham?
Go for it, buddy.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of the second episode of After the Rolls with Straight Out of Grandma's Basement. If you'd like to hear more from us, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or follow and subscribe to Reaper1FR on twitch.tv/Reaper1FR. You can also find us on Spotify as well as other media outlets coming soon to a source near you. My name's Trenton. I'm the Fat Feline, and that's it for us.
Real quick before we
Have
go,
a good night,
I want to
guys.
see. Hold on, I want to see if we have been updated to iHeartRadio. That was the one I was waiting to update the longest. Let me see if our episode is actually on iHeartRadio. Hold on 1 second, because they're usually
The slowest ones
the,
to
the
do
slow.
so.
Yeah. All right. All right. Hold on. Where are we? I know we're on here. Oh, yep, there it is. They haven't approved our thumbnail yet.
Is our
Yeah, our first After the Rolls is on iHeartRadio, so we've updated. Sweet.
nice.
So yeah, so you guys will be catching this on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes. Actually, no, I think iTunes I'm having bugs with, so I have to work on iTunes. But other than that, yeah, if we're not on a podcasting device that you like, you can always just catch them on YouTube. If you don't want to catch them on YouTube, just let us know where you want us to go. But other than that, thank you guys again. Like Feline said, thank you guys so much for listening to After the Rolls, and we'll see you guys next time. Say bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Suck my cock.